Listen and do not rush this moment, because something about this very second is not ordinary. Something about the way you arrived here, the way your eyes landed on these words, the way your spirit paused instead of scrolling, it is not random. It is not coincidence. It is not accident. This is a divine interruption. Archangel Michael stands in the unseen realm, not speaking to the crowd, but to you. Yes, you. The one reading this right now. That his presence is not gentle in this moment. It is urgent. It is commanding. Because heaven has marked this exact second as a turning point in your life. And if you feel a strange pull in your chest, a quiet tension in your spirit, a whisper telling you don't skip, that is not fear. That is recognition. Your soul knows something is about to happen. You were not looking for this message. You did not plan to stop here. You did not schedule this encounter. But heaven did. Before this day even began, before the clock struck this hour, before your thoughts aligned with this moment, your name was already written into it. And now, here you are, standing at the edge of something you cannot yet fully see, but your spirit can already feel. There's a reason your attention was captured, a reason your focus locked in. Because what is about to unfold is not just information, it is revelation. And revelation only comes to those who are ready to receive it. Something is shifting, not out there in the world, but closer than that. Much closer. Inside your house. Inside your space. Inside the environment you thought you understood. There has been movement. Silent, subtle, unseen movement. And while everything may look normal on the surface, beneath it something has already begun. You felt it, haven't you? That unexplainable tension. A sudden heaviness in certain moments. That feeling like something is off, but you couldn't explain why. That shift in energy when certain conversations happen. That silence that feels louder than noise. You tried to ignore it. You told yourself it was nothing. You brushed it off as stress, as mood, as imagination. But deep down you knew. Your spirit picked up on something your mind could not yet process. And that is why this message found you now. Because August 7th is not just another date. It is a line drawn in the spiritual realm. A moment where what has been hidden begins to surface. A moment where what has been building in silence begins to take form. And heaven, in its mercy, refuses to let you walk into it unprepared. Archangel Michael does not interrupt without reason. He does not step forward unless something significant is unfolding. And right now, his voice carries both warning and protection. Because what is coming is not meant to harm you, but it will require your awareness. This is why you cannot skip. Not because of fear, but because of timing. Timing is everything in the spiritual realm. Miss the moment, and confusion follows. Ignore the signal, and clarity delays. But respond now, right now, and everything begins to align in ways you cannot yet imagine. There is something about your house, something about your environment, something about the people, the energy, the unseen conversations that is about to shift suddenly. And when it does, it will either catch you off guard or it will confirm everything your spirit has been trying to tell you. And here is the truth you must hear. You were chosen to be aware before it happens. Not after. Not during. Before. Because awareness is protection. Awareness is positioning. Awareness is the difference between reacting in confusion and standing in clarity. Archangel Michael is not here to scare you. He is here to prepare you, to sharpen your discernment, to awaken your attention, to pull you out of distraction and into divine alignment. So stay here. Do not rush. Do not scroll. Do not break this moment. Because what comes next will begin to reveal why August 7th matters and what is already forming inside your house right now. Type "I am ready" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 707 is now activated around your home. There are dates on a calendar that pass like any other, quiet, unnoticed, ordinary. But then there are dates that carry weight. Dates that hold something invisible yet undeniable. Dates that were not chosen by man, but marked by heaven itself. And August 7th is one of those dates. You may have woken up thinking it was just another day, another routine, another cycle repeating itself. But what you did not see, what you could not see, is that in the spiritual realm, this date had been circled long before you ever understood its significance, before your struggles began, before your questions formed, before you even realized something was shifting in your life. This moment was already set. Archangel Michael speaks with clarity now, and his voice carries a weight that cannot be ignored. He reveals that August 7th is not random. It is not symbolic. It is precise. It is a divine checkpoint, a moment where something that has been building silently is now reaching its point of manifestation. And here is what you must understand: this is not about fear. This is about timing. Because timing in the spiritual realm does not operate the way it does in the natural world. In your world, time moves forward, steady and predictable. But in the spiritual realm, time aligns with purpose. It accelerates when something is ready. It pauses when something is being prepared. And when the moment arrives, it does not wait. That is where you are right now. You are standing at a moment that has been prepared for you, but also requires your awareness. Because what is about to unfold in your house is not sudden in heaven's eyes. It has been forming, piece by piece, decision by decision, conversation by conversation, entity by entity. And now it is ready. Have you noticed how certain things have been intensifying lately? Small issues feeling bigger than they should. Conversations carrying a strange tension. Moments of silence that feel heavier than words. A sense that something is approaching, but you cannot define it. That is not coincidence. That is build-up. Because August 7th is not just a date, it is a release point. A release of truth. A release of exposure. A release of something that can no longer remain hidden. And this is why the urgency is so strong. Archangel Michael is not speaking casually. He is not delivering a soft message meant to be taken lightly. His words carry instruction. His tone carries authority. Because what is about to happen will not wait for you to be ready. It requires you to become ready now. This is why the warning is clear. Do not skip. Not because something is chasing you, but because something is aligning around you. And if you disconnect from this moment, even briefly, you risk missing the clarity that heaven is trying to place in your hands before everything shifts. Think about it. How many times have you felt like you almost understood something, but it slipped away? How many times have you sensed something important, but distractions pulled you away at the last second? That is not random. That is the exact strategy used to keep you disconnected from moments like this. But not today. Because today, heaven is insisting on your attention. August 7th is a dividing line. Before and after. What was hidden and what will be revealed. What felt confusing and what will suddenly make sense. And when that shift happens, you will either be prepared for it or you will be caught inside it. And you were not chosen to be caught off guard. You were chosen to see before others see. To feel before others understand. To recognize before others react. That is why this message came to you first. That is why your spirit paused here. That is why something inside you said stay. Because deep down, you already know this is not ordinary. There's something about your house, your environment, your personal space that is about to change in a way that will demand your awareness. And when it happens, it will feel fast, sudden, almost unexpected. But in truth, it was always coming. This is the moment where preparation meets manifestation, and Archangel Michael stands as a witness to it, declaring that you are not alone in this moment, that heaven is not distant, that you are being guided step by step into awareness, not confusion. But you must remain present. You must stay connected. You must not allow distraction to pull you away from what is being revealed to you now. Because once this moment passes, it does not return in the same way. And what happens next will begin to uncover exactly what has been forming inside your house and why it can no longer stay hidden. Type "I will not miss my moment" in the comments if you receive this. Blessing code 807 is now activated over your timeline. Listen carefully now, because the tone shifts here. What was once a gentle pull is now becoming a direct warning. Archangel Michael steps forward not as a distant observer, but as a protector standing at the edge of your reality, looking into your house, your space, your environment, your inner circle, and what he sees is not yet visible to you, but it is already in motion. Something is forming. Not imagined, not exaggerated, not symbolic, real. It has been building quietly, without announcement, without noise, without obvious signs. That is how these things begin. Not with chaos, but with subtle shifts. A word spoken in the wrong tone. A reaction that didn't feel right. A moment that seemed small but carried unusual weight. You noticed it, but you dismissed it. You felt it, but you explained it away. You told yourself it was nothing. But it was not nothing. Archangel Michael reveals that what you are sensing is the early stage of something that is now taking shape inside your house. Not necessarily walls and furniture, but the environment, the energy, the interactions, the unseen atmosphere that surrounds everything within it. Because a house is not just a physical place, it is a spiritual space. And right now, that space is shifting. There is a pattern forming. And patterns, when ignored, become outcomes. This is why the warning is being released now, before it fully manifests. Because once something completes its formation, it becomes harder to redirect. But while it is still forming, while it is still in motion, there is an opportunity, an opening, for awareness to step in and change the course. That is why you are being shown this now. There have been things happening around you that do not fully add up. Small inconsistencies, subtle changes in behavior, a difference in tone from people who once felt predictable. Even moments where silence felt louder than conversation. You may not have had the words for it, but your spirit recognized it immediately. Because your spirit always knows first. And Archangel Michael confirms what your spirit has been trying to tell you. Something is developing behind the surface. Something that, if left unnoticed, will suddenly appear as a situation you feel unprepared for. This is not about panic. This is about perception. Because what is forming is not necessarily negative by design, but it is powerful in impact. It is something that will shift the atmosphere of your house. It will bring something to the surface that hath been sitting underneath, unnoticed or unspoken. And when it rises, it will demand attention. You have felt the buildup, even if you could not explain it. Moments where your intuition told you to pause. Moments where something inside you said, "Watch this carefully." Moments where you felt slightly out of place in a space that should feel familiar. Those moments were not random. They were signals. And now, those signals are becoming clearer. Archangel Michael stands with authority and makes this known. You are not being shown this to fear what is coming. You are being shown this so that when it happens, you will not be confused by it. You will recognize it. You will understand it. And most importantly, you will not react blindly. Because reaction without awareness creates chaos. But awareness before reaction creates control. This is why you must stay grounded now. Stay observant. Stay connected to what your spirit is picking up. Because the next phase of this formation will not remain hidden for long. It is approaching the point where it will become visible, audible, undeniable. And when it does, it may come through something simple, a conversation, a message, a sudden shift in behavior. But the impact will be deeper than it appears. You are being positioned to see beyond the surface, to understand what others may overlook, to recognize what others may dismiss. Because not everyone in your house is aware of what is forming. Not everyone will see it the way you do. Not everyone will respond with clarity. But you were chosen to be aware before the moment arrives. And that awareness is your protection. This is not about controlling others. This is about controlling your response, your clarity, your position when the shift happens. Because what is forming will test the atmosphere of your house. It will reveal what hath been stable and what hath been unstable. And revelation always comes with a purpose. It exposes what needs to be addressed. It brings to light what can no longer remain hidden. It forces a moment of truth. That moment is approaching. Archangel Michael does not leave you without reassurance. He makes it clear that you are not alone in this process. That while something is forming, something else is also happening at the same time. Protection is being positioned around you. But protection works best when awareness is active. So do not ignore what you feel. Do not dismiss what your spirit is picking up. Do not return to distraction now. Because what comes next will begin to reveal exactly what this formation is and why it had to happen inside your house. Type ISE clearly in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 333 is now activated around your household. As this message unfolds and your awareness begins to rise, understand this. Every moment of clarity you receive is not meant to stay with you alone. It is meant to reach others who are still walking in confusion, still searching for truth, still waiting for light to break through their darkness. When you choose to support this mission through Super Thanks or through the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing a seed into someone's awakening. Just as Scripture declares, give, and it shall be given unto you. This is not a passive verse. It is a living promise being activated through your obedience. Right now, you feel the pull to act, and that is not coincidence. It is divine prompting. This is your moment to become a vessel through which God's voice reaches another soul. Do not delay what heaven is asking you to release. Step forward, give with intention, and watch how God multiplies it back into your life in ways you cannot yet see. There is something you must understand now, something that changes everything about how you see this moment. What is coming has not just begun. It has already started. Quietly, subtly, without announcement. And while you have been going about your days, thinking things were normal, thinking nothing significant was happening, a shift has already taken place behind closed doors. Not everything begins with noise. Some of the most powerful changes begin in silence. Archangel Michael reveals this with precision. He does not speak of what might happen. He speaks of what has already been set in motion. Because what is forming in your house did not appear suddenly. It did not arrive overnight. It has been developing gradually, layer by layer, moment by moment, hidden beneath ordinary routines and familiar interactions. And that is why it was so difficult to detect. Because when something grows slowly, it blends into the environment. Think about the past few days or even weeks. There have been moments that felt slightly different, but not enough to alarm you. A conversation that ended strangely. A reaction that didn't match the situation. A silence that felt heavier than usual. A look, a tone, an energy that lingered longer than it should have. At the time, it seemed small. But now, those moments begin to connect. Because they were not isolated. They were pieces of a shift. A shift that has already begun behind the scenes of your daily life. A shift that is not yet fully visible, but is preparing to reveal itself in a way that will demand your attention. And when that moment comes, you may feel like it appeared suddenly, but in truth, it has been building this entire time. This is why awareness now is so critical. Because once something hidden begins to surface, it moves quickly. Faster than expected. Faster than you can fully process if you are not already grounded. And that is exactly what Archangel Michael is preparing you for. Not the beginning of the shift, but the moment it becomes visible. Something has changed in your environment. Not drastically on the surface, but deeply underneath. There is a different current flowing through your house now. A different energy moving between conversations, between interactions, between moments of silence. You may not have fully understood it, but you have felt it. That subtle sense that something is not quite the same anymore. And your instinct was right. Because something has been set into motion that cannot remain hidden for much longer. This does not mean something is wrong in the way you might fear. It means something is being revealed. Something that was always there but not fully seen. Something that has been waiting for the right moment to rise to the surface. And that moment is approaching. Archangel Michael stands as a witness to this shift, not to alarm you, but to prepare you. He makes it clear that what is happening is part of a larger unfolding, one that involves truth, clarity, and exposure. Because anything that remains hidden for too long eventually reaches a point where it must be seen. And that is where you are now, at the edge of revelation. But here is what you must not do. Do not ignore the small signals. Do not dismiss the subtle changes. Do not convince yourself that everything is exactly the same when your spirit is clearly telling you otherwise. Because your spirit is ahead of your understanding. It has already picked up on what your mind is still trying to process. And that is why you feel this tension now. Not fear but awareness trying to rise. Because deep inside, you know something is shifting. You know something is different. You know something is about to become clear in a way that cannot be ignored anymore. And that knowing is your preparation. There are things happening in your house. Conversations, thoughts, emotions, energies that are aligning toward a moment of exposure. Not necessarily conflict, not necessarily chaos, but clarity. A moment where something that hath been unspoken becomes spoken. Where something that has been hidden becomes visible. And when that happens, it will feel like a sudden realization. But it will not be sudden. It will be confirmation. Confirmation of everything your spirit had been sensing. Confirmation that what you felt was real. Confirmation that this moment was always approaching. This is why Archangel Michael has stepped in now, to position you before the moment arrives. To ensure that when the hidden becomes seen, you are not caught in confusion, but standing in understanding. Because understanding changes everything. It allows you to respond instead of react. It allows you to remain steady when things shift. It allows you to see the deeper meaning behind what others may only see on the surface. And that is your role in this moment. To be aware. To be grounded. to be ready for what is about to come into the light. Because what has already begun behind closed doors is now preparing to step into the open. Type "I am aware" in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson code 404 is now activated over your awareness. There is a reason why your home does not feel the same anymore, and it is deeper than anything visible to the eye. You may have tried to explain it away, to normalize it, to convince yourself that nothing has changed, but something inside you keeps returning to the same quiet realization. The atmosphere is different. The energy is different. The way things feel when you walk into a room, the way silence lingers, the way conversations carry a weight they did not have before. None of this is imagined. None of this is random. This is spiritual atmosphere shifting in real time. Archangel Michael reveals that what you are sensing is not external first. It is internal awareness responding to unseen movement. Because every house carries more than walls and furniture. It carries emotion. It carries memory. It carries energy that builds over time through words spoken, thoughts held, and interactions repeated. And when something begins to change within that environment, the atmosphere reflects it before anything else becomes visible. That is why you feel it before you see it. There have been moments recently where you walked into a space in your house and felt something you could not describe. Not fear, but discomfort. Not confusion, but a sense that something was out of alignment. Even the smallest things have felt heavier than they should. A simple conversation feels loaded. A simple silence feels stretched. Even your own thoughts feel louder in certain moments, as if the environment itself is amplifying what is happening inside. This is not coincidence. This is sensitivity to a shifting atmosphere. And your sensitivity is not weakness. It is awareness. Archangel Michael makes it clear that when spiritual movement begins within a space, the first place it becomes noticeable is in how it feels. Because energy changes before events do. Atmosphere shifts before situations unfold. And those who are attuned, those who are aware, begin to feel it before they can explain it. That is exactly what is happening to you. Your home is not the same environment it was before, even if everything looks identical. Something has entered a phase of change, and that change is affecting the atmosphere in ways that are subtle but undeniable. It is affecting how people respond. It is affecting how conversations unfold. It is affecting how silence settles. You may have noticed that certain interactions feel slightly strained without a clear reason. As certain moments carry an unspoken tension. That even when everything appears calm, there is an underlying current that does not fully settle. These are not random emotional fluctuations. These are signals. Signals that something deeper is moving beneath the surface. Because when something begins to form within a house, it does not wait until the final moment to make itself known. It announces itself quietly through atmosphere first. Through feeling. Through subtle shifts that only those who are paying attention could detect. And you are detecting it. That is why you cannot fully relax into the normal rhythm you once had. That is why something feels slightly off even when nothing obvious is happening. That is why your awareness keeps returning to the same question. Why does this feel different? Because it is different. Archangel Michael stands as confirmation of what you are sensing. He does not dismiss it. He does not minimize it. He amplifies it, making it clear that your awareness is aligned with what is truly happening. Because the atmosphere of your home is preparing for a moment of revelation, and that preparation is creating the tension you feel now. But listen carefully, this is not something to fear. This is something to understand. Because when you understand the atmosphere, you gain clarity over your position within it. You are no longer reacting to what you do not understand. You are observing what is unfolding with awareness. and that awareness gives you stability. It keeps you grounded when others may feel unsettled. It keeps you clear when others may feel confused. It allows you to remain centered even as the environment around you shifts. And that is exactly why you were chosen to feel this first. Not everyone in your house is sensing what you are sensing. Not everyone is aware of the atmosphere the way you are. Some may continue as if nothing has changed. Some may not notice the tension at all. But you were given sensitivity for a reason. Because awareness is your role. And your awareness now is preparing you for what comes next. Because the atmosphere does not shift without purpose. It shifts because something is approaching a moment where it can no longer remain beneath the surface. And when that moment arrives, the feeling you have now will make sense. Everything will connect. Everything will become clear. And you will recognize that what you felt was not imagination. It was preparation. So do not ignore it. Do not silence your awareness. Do not force yourself to feel normal when your spirit is clearly telling you that something is changing. Because this awareness is your guide through what is about to unfold. And what unfolds next will begin to test how you respond when clarity replaces uncertainty. Type "I trust my spirit" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 505 is now activated over your home's atmosphere. There comes a moment in every spiritual journey where the test is not about strength, not about knowledge, not even about understanding. It is about obedience. Quiet, immediate, unwavering obedience. And that is exactly the moment you are standing in right now. This is not just another message you can casually hear and move on from. This is not something you can pause, delay, or return to later without consequence. Because what is happening now is not just information being delivered. It is instruction being given. And instruction, when ignored, does not disappear. It becomes misalignment. Archangel Michael speaks with unmistakable authority in this moment. His voice is no longer simply guiding, it is commanding awareness. Because heaven does not interrupt without purpose, and it does not repeat urgency without reason. The reason is simple, but it is also critical. Your response to this moment determines your position in what is about to unfold. Obedience is not always comfortable. Sometimes it feels inconvenient. Sometimes it feels unnecessary. Sometimes it feels like you could come back to it later. But true obedience does not negotiate with timing. It responds immediately. This is why the warning is so direct. Do not skip, not even for a second. Not because something will punish you, but because something will proceed without your awareness if you disconnect now. And once a moment of alignment passes, it cannot be recreated in the exact same way. Think about how many times in your life you felt you were almost aware of something important, but you missed the moment. How many times clarity was just within reach, but distraction pulled you away. How many times you sensed something significant, but you chose to return to it later and later never carried the same clarity. That is not coincidence. That is how missed moments operate. And Archangel Michael is making sure that does not happen to you now. Because this moment is not just about what you hear, it is about how you respond. Whether you stay present or allow yourself to drift. Whether you remain focused or allow distraction to take over. Whether you treat this as ordinary or recognize it as the exact moment it is meant to be. Obedience in this context is simple, but powerful. Stay present. Stay aware. Stay connected to what is being revealed. Because what is being revealed is not complete yet. And if you step away before the full picture forms, you risk misunderstanding what was meant to bring you clarity. That is where consequences begin, not as punishment, but as confusion. Because confusion is what fills the space when clarity is interrupted. Archangel Michael makes it clear that this is a test, but not in the way you might expect. It is not a test designed to make you fail. It is a test designed to position you, to see if you will hold your attention long enough to receive what is being given to you in full. Because partial awareness leads to partial understanding, and partial understanding leads to misinterpretation. You were not brought here for fragments. You were brought here for clarity, and clarity requires presence. There is something about this moment that demands your full attention, because what comes next will build on what you are receiving now. Each piece connects to the next. Each revelation prepares you for the next layer. And if you break that sequence even briefly, the connection weakens. That is why the urgency feels strong. That is why the instruction feels firm. That is why your spirit keeps telling you not to move away. Because this is alignment in motion. And alignment does not wait for convenience. It moves with precision. You may feel the urge to step away, eject something else, to pause and return later. That urge is not random. It is the exact moment where obedience is tested, because distraction always appears when clarity is about to deepen. But you must resist it. You must remain. Because what is forming in your house, what is shifting in your environment, what is preparing to reveal itself, it all connects to your awareness right now. And if you stay, if you remain aligned, you will step into that moment with clarity instead of confusion. Archangel Michael stands firm, not to pressure you, but to anchor you, to hold your attention steady in a moment where it matters most, because he sees what is coming even if you do not yet. And his instruction is not based on fear. It is based on foresight. So stay with this moment. Do not break your focus. Do not treat this lightly. Because your obedience right now is not just about this message. It is about positioning yourself correctly for what is about to unfold next. And what unfolds next will begin to expose the deeper strategy behind everything that has been happening around you. Type I remain aligned in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 606 is now activated over your obedience. Now you begin to see more clearly, because what has been happening around you is not random, and it is not isolated. There is a pattern behind it, a strategy, a quiet, calculated movement designed not to destroy you directly, but to misalign you gradually. And Archangel Michael reveals this with precision. The strategy has always been distraction, delay, and disconnection. It does not begin with something obvious. It does not announce itself loudly. It works subtly, patiently, almost invisibly. Because distraction does not need to overpower you. It only needs to shift your focus slightly. Just enough to pull your attention away from what truly matters. Just enough to make you overlook the signals. Just enough to cause you to miss the moment where clarity begins to form. Think about how your attention has been pulled recently. Small interruptions. Sudden urges to check something else. Moments where you felt drawn away from stillness into noise. Even now, during this message, there have been brief flashes where your mind tried to wander. That is not coincidence. That is the first layer of the strategy. Distraction. Because if your focus is broken, your awareness weakens. And when awareness weakens, delay begins. Delay is not always visible. It does not feel like something is stopping you. It feels like something is slowing you. Like clarity is taking longer than it should. Like understanding is just out of reach. Like something important is almost forming, but never fully arrives. You may have felt this in your recent experiences. That sense of being close to understanding something but not quite grasping it. That feeling of progress that suddenly pauses without explanation. That pattern of almost reaching clarity, only for it to slip away at the last moment. That is delay, and delay creates frustration. But more importantly, it creates disconnection. Because when something is delayed long enough, it begins to feel distant. It begins to feel less urgent, less important, less necessary to focus on. And that is where the final layer of the strategy takes hold. Disconnection, not from your environment, but from your awareness within it. Disconnection from your intuition. Disconnection from the signals your spirit is sending you. Disconnection from the clarity that is trying to reach you. And once disconnection settles in, everything that follows feels normal again, even when something deeper is still unfolding beneath the surface. This is the full strategy. Not destruction, not chaos, but misalignment. Because if you are misaligned, you do not need to be stopped. You stop yourself from seeing what is happening clearly. That is why Archangel Michael is revealing this now. Because once you see the strategy, it loses its power over you. Once you recognize distraction, you can resist it. Once you recognize delay, you can remain patient and grounded. Once you recognize disconnection, you can reconnect intentionally. And that changes everything. Because awareness disrupts the strategy completely. Think about this moment right now. You are still here. You have not skipped. You have not disconnected. You have remained present, even as the urge to drift may have appeared. That alone has already broken part of the pattern. Because the strategy depends on you leaving. It depends on you losing focus. It depends on you choosing something else over this moment. But you did not. And that is why clarity is increasing. That is why everything you are hearing is beginning to connect more deeply. That is why what once felt unclear is starting to make sense. Because you stayed. Archangel Michael makes it clear that what is forming in your house is not separate from this strategy. It is connected to it. Because the same pattern of distraction, delay, and disconnection has been operating within your environment as well. Not necessarily through you alone, but through the atmosphere, through interactions, through the way things have been unfolding. And that is why awareness is so critical now. Because once something is revealed, the strategy shifts. It no longer hides, it adapts. It attempts to create confusion in new ways. It tries to make you second-guess what you have already begun to understand. But you must not allow that. You must stay anchored in what you now see. Because clarity, once gained, must be protected. Do not return to distraction. Do not accept delay. Do not allow disconnection. Remain aligned. Remain aware. Remain steady. Because what comes next will build on this awareness. It will begin to show you not just the strategy behind what has been happening, but also the protection that has been placed around you in response to it. And that protection is already closer than you think. Type ISE the strategy in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 7077 is now activated over your clarity. As the truth continues to unfold, you must understand something that brings balance to everything you have heard so far. While there has been a strategy working quietly through distraction, delay, and disconnection, there has also been something else moving at the same time. Something greater, something stronger, something that has never left your side. Divine protection. Archangel Michael now steps forward not just as a messenger, but as a guardian. His presence shifts the atmosphere entirely, because where there is awareness of strategy, there must also be awareness of protection. And he makes this clear. Your household has not been left uncovered. You have not been navigating this moment alone. There are angels assigned, positioned, and active around your space right now. Not symbolically, not passively, but actively. You may not see them with your eyes, but you have felt the effects of their presence. The moments where something could have escalated, but did not. The situations that seemed like they were about to unfold negatively, but suddenly shifted. The times where confusion could have taken over completely, but something inside you pulled you back into clarity. That was not coincidence. That was intervention. Because protection does not always appear as something dramatic. Sometimes it appears as prevention. Archangel Michael reveals that while something has been forming within your house, there has also been a counter-movement. An unseen force ensuring that what is forming does not overtake you, does not overwhelm you, and does not unfold without divine oversight. This is why you are being prepared now. Because protection works best when it aligns with awareness. You are not being protected from awareness. You are being protected through awareness. There are angels positioned at the edges of your environment, watching what unfolds, intercepting what is not meant to reach you fully, and holding back what would otherwise create unnecessary chaos. Their presence is steady, unwavering, and precise. They are not reacting. They are already in position. And this is why you must not fear what is coming. Because what is coming is not without boundaries. It is not without limits. It is not without divine order. Archangel Michael makes it clear that nothing entering your space right now has the authority to override the protection placed over you. The protection is already established, already active, already responding to what is unfolding. But there is something important you must understand. Protection does not remove your role in the process. It strengthens it. Because even with angels surrounding your household, your awareness still matters. Your response still matters. Your ability to remain grounded, clear, and aligned still determines how you move through what is about to be revealed. This is not about being passive. This is about being positioned. Because protection without awareness leads to confusion. But protection with awareness leads to clarity and control. You may begin to notice subtle confirmations of this protection. A sudden sense of calm in moments that should feel tense. A clarity of thought when confusion tries to rise. A feeling of being held steady even when the atmosphere shifts around you. These are not random emotional changes. These are signs that you are not alone in this moment. Archangel Michael stands at the forefront of this protection, not as a distant force, but as an active presence. His role is not only to reveal what is forming, but to ensure that what unfolds does not take you out of alignment. He is not removing the moment. You are meant to experience it, but he is guiding how it impacts you. And that changes everything. Because instead of fearing what is about to happen, you can observe it with clarity. Instead of reacting to what unfolds, you can respond with understanding. Instead of being overwhelmed by the shift, you can stand steady within it. This is what divine protection does. It does not always stop the moment. It prepares you to move through it with strength. And that is exactly what is happening right now. The angels assigned to your household are not leaving. They are not stepping back. They are not waiting for something to happen. They are already active, already aware, already positioned. And their presence will become even more evident as what is forming begins to reveal itself. So remain steady. Remain aware. Remain connected to what you are feeling and understanding now. Because what comes next will begin to show you not only what is being revealed, but why it needed to be revealed in the first place. Type "I am protected" in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson code 8888 is now activated around your household. As you feel this protection surrounding your life and your household, understand this. What you are receiving right now is not just for you. It is meant to flow through you into others who are still searching for this same covering, this same clarity, this same divine connection. Every seed you release into this mission becomes light in someone else's darkness, like oil poured into lamps that are about to go out. The Lord declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." And this is not a distant promise. It is a living exchange happening in this very moment. I feel the prompting rising within you, that quiet voice saying, "This is my moment to act." Do not ignore it. Step into it. Your support through Super Thanks or the PayPal link in the description is not a donation. It is a prophetic act that unlocks reach, multiplies truth, and positions you under open heavens. Release your seed now, and watch how God moves in your life with undeniable confirmation. Now the moment you have been sensing begins to take shape, because everything you have felt, everything you have noticed, everything that has seemed slightly out of place is leading to this point. Revelation. Not assumption. Not suspicion. Revelation. The kind that does not come from guessing, but from truth rising to the surface when it can no longer remain hidden. Archangel Michael speaks with unmistakable clarity now, and his presence becomes even more direct. He reveals that what is about to unfold in your house is not random conflict, not meaningless tension, not something small that will pass unnoticed. It is exposure. A moment where something that has been operating beneath the surface begins to show itself in a way that cannot be ignored, cannot be denied, and cannot be misunderstood once it is seen. There are things within your family dynamic that have not been fully visible. Not because they were completely hidden, but because they were not yet ready to be seen clearly. Sometimes truth does not reveal itself immediately because the timing is not aligned. Sometimes things remain beneath the surface until the exact moment where their exposure will create the greatest clarity. That moment is now approaching. You may have already sensed fragments of it. Small indications that something was not fully aligned. Moments where you questioned certain behaviors. Times where something felt inconsistent with what was being said or shown. You did not have full clarity then, but you had awareness. Now awareness is turning into revelation. Because what is about to be exposed is not just about what is happening, it is about why it has been happening. The deeper layer behind the surface. The motivation behind certain actions. The truth behind certain patterns. And once the truth is revealed, it will change how everything makes sense to you. This is why the preparation hath been so important. Because without preparation, revelation can feel overwhelming. But with preparation, revelation brings clarity. Archangel Michael makes it clear that this moment of exposure is not designed to create chaos. It is designed to create understanding. Because what remains hidden creates confusion, but what is revealed creates direction. It allows you to see clearly where things stand, what needs to be addressed, and how you must position yourself moving forward. There is something within your family environment that has been building quietly. A pattern, a tension, an unspoken truth that has lingered beneath conversations and interactions. It has not fully surfaced yet, but it is now reaching the point where it must. And when it does, it will likely come through something simple on the surface. A conversation that suddenly shifts tone. A moment where something is said that reveals more than intended. An action that exposes a deeper reality. It will not announce itself dramatically. It will reveal itself naturally, but with undeniable clarity. And when that happens, you will recognize it immediately. Because your spirit has already been prepared for it. You will not be confused. You will not be caught off guard. You will understand. That is the difference between those who are aware and those who are not. Others may react emotionally. Others may respond without clarity. Others may struggle to process what is being revealed. But you were positioned ahead of this moment. You were given awareness before exposure. and that awareness will allow you to remain steady when the truth comes forward. This is not about judgment. This is not about confrontation. This is about clarity, because clarity is what allows you to move correctly. It allows you to see what needs to change. It allows you to understand what has been affecting your environment. It allows you to recognize the deeper structure behind what has been unfolding. And once you see it, you cannot unsee it. That is why this moment matters so much. Because revelation changes your position. It shifts how you respond. It shifts how you interact. It shifts how you understand your role within your house and your family. Archangel Michael stands firm, ensuring that this revelation does not overwhelm you but instead strengthens you. Because what is being exposed is not meant to break you. It is meant to align you, to bring you into a position of understanding where you can move forward without confusion. And this is only the beginning. Because once something is revealed, it sets the stage for what happens next. A moment where everything begins to shift more visibly. A moment where what has been building reaches its peak. A moment that will change the direction of everything within your house. And that moment is closer than you think. Type "I receive clarity" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 909 is now activated over your understanding. You have felt it building. You have sensed it rising. You have noticed the subtle shifts, the quiet tension, the hidden movement beneath ordinary moments. But now, everything you have been prepared for is approaching a single point, a breaking point. Not destruction but release. Not chaos but culmination. A moment where everything that has been forming reaches the surface at once. Archangel Michael speaks with intensity now, because this is the moment where the unseen becomes seen. The moment where what has been developing behind closed doors can no longer remain contained. And when it happens, it will feel sudden. It will feel like something changed in an instant. But in truth, it hath been building all along. This is how breaking points work. They are not created in a single moment. They are formed over time. Every small shift, every subtle tension, every unspoken truth, every unnoticed pattern, they all gather, they all align, they all move toward one moment where everything converges. And when that moment arrives, it does not ask for permission. It simply unfolds. That is where you are now, at the edge of a moment that will change the atmosphere of your house in a way that cannot be reversed. It may come through something that seems small on the surface, a conversation that suddenly reveals more than expected, a reaction that exposes what has been hidden, a situation that escalates quickly, without warning. But what matters is not the form it takes, it is the truth it carries. Because this moment will carry truth. Truth that has been waiting to be seen. Truth that has been building quietly beneath everything you thought was stable. Truth that will shift your understanding completely once it is revealed. And when it happens, you will feel it immediately. There will be a clarity that cuts through everything. A realization that connects all the pieces you have been sensing. A moment where you recognize that nothing about this was random. That everything led to this point. This is why Archangel Michael has been preparing you step by step. Because without preparation, this moment could feel overwhelming. It could feel confusing. It could feel like something you were not ready to handle. But you are ready. Because you have been positioned ahead of it. You have been given awareness before impact. You have been guided into understanding before exposure. And that changes how you experience this moment entirely. Others may react with emotion. Others may respond with confusion. Others may struggle to understand what is happening. But you will see it for what it is. You will recognize the truth within it. You will remain steady while everything shifts around you. Because this moment is not here to break you. It is here to break the illusion, to break the pattern, to break the silence around what has been hidden. And once that break happens, everything changes. The atmosphere of your house will not return to what it was before. Because once truth is revealed, it cannot be hidden again. Once clarity arrives, confusion loses its place. Once something is exposed, it demands a response. This is why this moment matters so much. Because it is not just an event. It is a turning point. A moment where everything moves from hidden to visible. From building to breaking. Archangel Michael stands firm in this moment, not to stop what is happening, but to ensure that you remain grounded within it. Because this is where your awareness becomes your strength. This is where everything you have been sensing becomes your understanding. Do not resist this moment. Do not try to avoid it. Do not wish it away. Because it is necessary. It is part of the unfolding that leads to alignment. It is part of the process that brings clarity into your environment. And once it passes, you will not be in the same position you were before. You will see differently. You will understand differently. You will respond differently. Because something inside your house will have shifted permanently. And that shift will set the stage for what comes next. A moment where your role becomes even more important. A moment where your awareness must turn into action. A moment that will require you to step forward with clarity, not hesitation. And that moment is right after this breaking point. Type "I stand firm" in the comments if you receive this message. Lesson code 1010 is now activated over your strength. Now everything becomes personal, not distant, not theoretical. Not something happening around you alone, but something that requires your direct response. Because after awareness comes responsibility. After revelation comes action. And Archangel Michael makes this clear with unwavering authority. What happens next is not only about what unfolds in your house, but about how you position yourself within it before the moment fully arrives. This is where your role becomes critical. Up until now, you have been observing. You have been sensing. You have been receiving clarity piece by piece. But now, you are being called to act, not in panic, not in fear, but in alignment. Because there is a window connected to this moment, a specific period where your awareness must translate into intention. And that window is closing at 11:59 p.m. This is not about a random time. This is about a spiritual boundary. A point where preparation either completes or remains unfinished. Because timing, as Archangel Michael has already revealed, does not wait for convenience. It moves with precision. And you are being asked to meet that precision with your own readiness. So what does this mean for you? It means you must become intentional about your awareness. You must stop treating what you have felt as something uncertain and begin recognizing it as something real. Because doubt weakens clarity, and clarity is what you need most in this moment. Everything you have sensed, everything you have noticed, everything that felt slightly out of place, it all has meaning now. And your role is to hold on to that awareness without second-guessing it. This is also a moment of internal alignment. Not outward reaction, but inward positioning. Because before anything shifts externally, you must become steady internally. Your thoughts, your perception, your emotional state, these must be grounded. Because when the moment of exposure fully arrives, it will test your ability to remain clear instead of reactive. Archangel Michael is not asking you to control what happens around you. He is asking you to control how you stand within it. That is your role. You must become still but not passive. You must become aware but not overwhelmed. You must become ready but not right. Because readiness is not about speed, it is about clarity. There is also something deeper you must do now. Something that may not be visible but is powerful in its impact. You must release distraction completely. Everything that has tried to pull your attention away, everything that has attempted to break your focus, everything that has made you question your awareness. You must let it go. Because distraction is no longer neutral in this moment. It is interference. And you cannot afford interference now. This is why the instruction had been so clear from the beginning. Do not skip. Do not disconnect. Do not delay. Because every second of awareness you hold now strengthens your position for what is about to unfold. You may feel a sense of urgency rising within you. Not fear, but pressure. Not panic, but awareness of importance. It is not something to ignore. That is your alignment activating. That is your spirit recognizing that this moment matters. And it does. Because once this window closes, the next phase begins. And the next phase will not wait for you to catch up. This is why your role is now. Not later. Not after. Now. Archangel Michael stands firmly in this moment, ensuring that you understand the weight of what is being asked of you. Not to overwhelm you, but to position you. Because everything that has been revealed so far leads to this point. The moment where you take what you have received and hold it with intention. You are not being asked to act outwardly in a dramatic way. You are being asked to become inwardly aligned. To stand in awareness. To remain grounded. To trust what has been revealed to you. Because the trust will carry you through what happens next. And what happens next will require you to be steady, clear, and fully present. So do not drift now. Do not lose focus now. Do not return to distraction now. Because you have come too far into this moment to step away before it completes. This is your position. This is your role. This is your alignment before the shift. And once this alignment is set, everything that follows will meet you differently. Type "I am aligned" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1111 is now activated over your position. This is it. The moment everything has been leading toward. The final call. The final alignment. The final second where awareness, preparation, and action come together as one. Because what has been building in silence, what has been forming beneath the surface, what has been shifting within your house is now at the edge of activation. Archangel Michael stands firm, his presence unwavering, his voice clear, and his message undeniable. There is no more preparation beyond this point. There is no more delay. There is only the moment, and your position within it. The countdown has already begun. Not in the way you see time on a clock, but in the way the spiritual realm moves toward completion. Every second now carries weight. Every moment now holds significance. Because what happens next will not be something you can pause, rewind, or revisit later. It will unfold in real time, and your awareness will determine how you experience it. You were brought here for this exact reason. Not to watch from a distance. Not to remain uncertain. But to stand fully present in the moment where everything aligns. There is something about this activation that you must understand. It is not just about what happens in your house. It is about what happens within you as it unfolds. Because as the shift completes itself externally, something will also shift internally. Your perception, your clarity, your understanding of everything that has led to this point. And when it happens, it will feel immediate. A realization that locks into place. A clarity that removes all doubt. A knowing that confirms everything you have sensed. This is activation, not gradual, not partial, complete. And once it happens, there is no returning to the previous state of uncertainty. Because once truth becomes clear, it replaces everything that once felt unclear. Once alignment is established, confusion no longer has the same hold. This is why this moment matters so deeply. Because you are not just witnessing something unfold. You are crossing into a new level of awareness. A level where you see things differently. Where you understand patterns before they fully form. Where you recognize truth without needing confirmation. This is what Archangel Michael had been preparing you for. Not just this event, but the awareness that comes from it. And now, the final instruction remains simple, but powerful. Stay ready. Stay present. Stay aligned until the moment completes. Do not rush ahead. Do not look away. Do not disconnect now. Because the activation happens when everything comes together, not before. And you are right at that point. Right at the edge of completion. Right at the moment where everything shifts. Archangel Michael does not step back. He remains present, ensuring that what unfolds does not take you out of alignment, but instead confirms everything that has been revealed to you. Because you were not brought here to be uncertain. You were brought here to be aware. And awareness is now becoming activation. So stand firm in this final moment. Hold your focus. Trust what you have received. Because once this activation completes, everything will begin to make sense in a way it never has before. And you will know, without doubt, that you did not miss your moment. Type IT is done in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1212 is now activated over your life. As this divine activation settles over your life, understand this sacred truth: what just touched your spirit is not meant to stop with you. It is meant to flow through you like a river of light, reaching souls who are still in darkness, still waiting for this exact moment of awakening. The Lord declares, "Cast your bread upon the waters, and it shall return to you." And right now, your giving becomes that living seed, moving beyond what you can see and transforming lives you may never meet. I feel it strongly. This is your moment to respond, not later, not someday, but now. When you release your support through Super Thanks or the PayPal link in the description and QR code on your screen, you are not giving to a platform. You are igniting a harvest of souls, a movement of truth, a wave of divine connection. This is not optional. This is prophetic alignment. Step forward, act in obedience, and release your seed now. And as you do, I declare that what you give will return to you multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing in your life.